everyone, Paul ISM, welcome to another build series. Now, I've got a little bit to chat about here, a little bit of info. I'll get more in depth at the end of the video to save hanging around because it's a long video, this one. But basically, the B100 Wave 50 was started and we've got 2 parts out already. That's kind of stalled on part 3. The suspension doesn't sit right, the wheels don't sit right. There's a few fit issues which we knew on this kit anyway, but basically I'm going to have to scratch build the suspension. I didn't really feel like doing it. I kind of lost the interest in working on it, and I thought let's put it away for another day. So that's boxed shelf for now. Hoping we'll revisit it later down the line because there's a lot of work on into that and it's looking good. So I thought let's build something different. So the Japanese group build has started over on ISM, and I thought let's take part in that. So I'm going to build this R32 Nissan Skyline GTR with the Hobby Design detailed upset. Spray it in an interesting colour, which we've certainly done that, as you'll see at the end of this video. And this is a series of builds I've wanted to do for a while. If you remember at Christmas time, I think it was, I said my goal this year was to do like a series of builds, starting with, we've already done the basic kit on its own. I've got 4 build series on those, loads of them, including the Subaru build, which is basically a step-by-step how to build a car series. We've then done a basic kit with a detailed upset on its own, a basic kit with a aftermarket decal set, a basic kit with a carbon set, and then we've done basic kit with some resin, like resin wheels on it. So we've done them all separate along the way. We then combined them with like the MP45, where we've added a detailed upset, aftermarket decals, scratch building, and the carbon work. And the next logical step up from that was then to do an in-depth detailed upset, like this one we got here. But there's body panels to cut off, replace with resin, got the technicalities of fitting the resin, photo etch, different wheels, things like that. Then the plan was to move on to a trans kit, which is basically the whole upper body is replaced with a plastic running gear with like the R35 we've got from Hobby Design. And then move on to a resin kit, then move on to something more in depth. And I've kind of gone around the house way of doing this because we went straight to resin with the alpha models, the Hobby Design kits. Then straight to the 4 model factory hero build, and now we've gone back to the start of where I wanted to go next, which was this kit. Now I've opened this box on this Hobby Design set a few times, looked at it and thought, that's a lot of work cutting that bumper off. But to be honest, after working on the model factory hero build for the past however long it's been, nothing really seems daunting anymore. And I've seen it, I thought I really want to do it, so let's just do it. So that's it. What I need to talk about, I spoke about now, and that's that. So this is kind of my, it's a journey through working with aftermarket. So start at the bottom, any of my build series, and then move on to like ones where I've added resin wheels, aftermarket decals, and then this is the next step up from that. So standard kit, cutting parts off, replacing resin, replacing the wheels, photo etch, things like that, and that's the next step. So the only one left to do, or I want to do at the beginning of the year, is then the trans kit and finish off the model factory hero build. So hopefully my wish will come true and I'll have them all done this year. And that way I can do a pick of my builds in the past and say there's your basic kit being built, there's a basic kit with decals, with carbon, with a photo etch set, with some wheels, and then there's it all combined. And that was the idea of me doing it. So that's what I'm doing here. Anyway, enough waffle. We're going to get on with this and we're going to hack this body apart, which is quite daunting, and spray this car in a very, very strange colour. Yes, you'll see at the end. Very weird colour. Hey everyone, please subscribe to the channel, click the bell notifications, get notified of our latest videos, give the video a thumbs up or a thumbs down, and leave a comment. I do read and appreciate every comment you guys and girls leave behind. I may not reply to them all, but they are all appreciated. And there's a link in the description of the video that takes you to a big long list of all handy videos and a lot of the products I use in my videos. You now have the chance to support the video content creation by using Patreon or the PayPal me link in the description down below. All the videos will always remain free to watch. This is just your chance to help support the videos. Okay, so the review of this went up a couple of days ago. We had a good look through the kit, and the detail upset, and here we are. We're going to make a start to this today. So, main point of contention on this front bumper. I didn't really notice it until I started to really look at the kit, and this front bumper is massively misshapen. So we need to cut the front bumper off this on the plastic kit and install this resin one. And one side of it seems to stick out a lot more than the other. The top side from here now. So you see if I line it up roughly where it'll go, it's out a good 5mm, a good ½ centimetre out. So we're going to have to rectify that, but we won't know how much until we get this front bumper off. So we need to gingerly cut this off. I'm going to use a combination of our JLC razor saw and our hobby knife and snip. So looking at the way the bumper sits, and I've looked many times to see how this fits, so I've got a good kind of mindset how I'm going to do it. We're going to follow the top of the bumper. There's a little ridge around the top by the lights. We're going to follow that up to the grille and repeat on the other side. So with the razor saw, I've literally got it angled to keep it away from the back part of the wheel arch, and we're just going to gently saw away until we get through. It's going to take a few minutes to do, so we're going to skip forward to the end, but I'm literally just going to keep going out like that. There we go. We'll speed up a little bit as we get through until we cut through the plastic. Now we're going to do it section by section because there's different levels to each side. But for here, we need to go right up into that kind of seam line, the panel line. So the razor saw gets in there nice and thin. Use your razor saw of choice. Just make sure it's a nice, thin, stiff blade. Be careful with the P type, because I think they may bend here doing this and might cause a few issues. And then I looked at the front and thought, what's the best way of dealing with this? I did try the razor saw, and then I think I found it easier to use a knife later on. So choose your weapon, but literally pick your point where you're going to cut. And if you're unsure, cut off less than needed, because you can always sand back later. Like I say, I found the knife easier because I had a panel line to follow. There's like a ridge just where the light is, so that's the ridge I am following to cut through. And once we cut through it, we can get our snips in and just remove that small section there, right up to where we cut. And there we go, that's our part done. Repeat on the other side, so it is kind of a mirror of this side, using the knife to gently score. No real pressure, just keep going at it. It'll eventually cut through, it'll take some time. Just be careful you don't slip and that you don't cut yourself. So it's quite daunting doing this to a kit. Luckily, this is a cheap kit. You can pick this up for around £16. There is the more expensive Nismo offering, which we looked at the other day in the review. So if it goes wrong, while it's a waste of a kit, it's not the end of the world. But as long as you follow the lines properly and are gentle with cutting everything, like I say, if you're unsure, cut off less than you need. That way you can sand to remove more material needed. It's easier to remove more than to add, because once it's gone, it's gone. And then just hit it with a sander, just give it a quick light sand with our 240 sander to remove any big wisps of plastic, and then we can have a look and see how it's going to fit in place. So not too bad so far, but you'll see just how misshapen this is now. So if I line up that side, it fits on pretty well. We'll line up that front grille, which I need just a little bit of adjustment. So just give it a quick sand and a little snip of plastic there and there, because there is a little piece that puts up to form the front grille. There we go. In one side, line the front up in the center. That side all lines up pretty well. We've got a minimal gap where the headlight goes, but literally the headlights are covered. But look at that gap on the other side. It is huge. And if you're watching me live, I was like, how am I going to get this to fit? I shouldn't be flexing this like this, but I know there's a bit of play in it. So I just gave it a little bit of a gentle push, and it did go in place just to see if it lined up. And it does. It lines up pretty well. So it just needs bending into shape. Now, the original plan was take this in my kitchen, take the camera with me, set the camera up and film it, which I did. But I thought I'll just try a little bit first. So I put it under the hot tap, ran the hot water, ran it under the tap for 10 seconds. So I'll give it a quick bend, see how it goes. It bent unbelievably easy. And I thought, oh, I've already done it, and I wasn't filming. So I literally ran it under hot water. So it's about 60 degrees centigrade. For 10-15 seconds, and then just lightly bent it right on the bend of the front bumper. No real pressure, just a little bit. It bent unbelievably easy. Held it in place, test fitted it, and there we go. Job done. It fitted perfect. So I didn't even get time to film it. So I do apologise, but trust me, I literally held it under the tap for 15 seconds and bent it a little bit. Unbelievably easy to do. I just wish I had started the camera before I tested it. So we've got the paw plugs to cut off. So again, use the razor saw. The sanders to get them all cut flush, and then sand off any nubs that are left behind, and that's it. It's a front bumper done. A few wisps of flash in between the grills and what have you, but pretty easy to clean up. Side skirts, we are going to follow those lines just above the midsection of the door. But a couple of different angles. So we're going to take the front and the back piece off first, and then the lower piece of the door. So again, razor saw in, follow that line at the top, stay hard pressed to it, and just gently razor saw till we go through. This is a part of the series of builds I wanted to do at the very beginning of the year, which was our journey through using aftermarket. And it was supposed to start at kind of this level and work our way up to full resin kits and then multimedia full kits, but we're kind of gone the wrong way here. We started with the alpha models, then we're building the Model Factory Hero, then we've gone back to this. So we're doing the same journey, just kind of in a higgledy-piggledy way. So the way I look at it is we started with normal kits out of the box, normal kits with aftermarket, normal kits with aftermarket decals, normal kits with aftermarket decals, carbon, and the detail upsets. And then we've now done full resin kits, multimedia. We've got the Model Factory Hero full multimedia kit on the go. And then this one with just a big detail upset. And then we need to do a trans kit as the next one, which will have a resin body on the plastic kit base. So we're getting there with what we plan to do, just going about it in a completely wrong order, which I'm a bit of a prat for doing, but hey, if you know me, that's typical for me and kind of how my mind works. But we'll cut the front section off, and we're just doing the same with the back. So we're just cutting to that door shut, and then we'll trim it off with our side cutters. Just gentle, almost scribing rather than sawing. And once you get the panel line deep enough, you can start going at it a little bit more vigorously. Just the whole time, just be aware of what you're doing, what you're cutting, and where the back end of that saw is. Like I say, once you pick a section to get through, which for me is right where the panel meets the door, we can hit it with our cutters and just gently prise away till it's gone. And that leaves us our straight edge now. So if you look, top and the bottom line up because they are slightly angled, as is the resin. And then we can just gently scribe across this, forming our line, and then hit it with the razor saw until it cuts through. Now, one thing I did notice is this side, the door shuts lined up perfectly. On the other side, they were short. They've been molded a little bit short, so I kind of had to put it in the middle to get the best of both worlds. So not the exact size on the other side, bit of a shame. But hey, you deal the hand you dealt with resin, and sometimes it doesn't quite fit, and where there's panel lines and that, you're kind of stuck as to where it's going. But a couple of minutes of sanding, we can gently fold it across and it'll snap cleanly off. There we go, wipe off any dust, a quick test fit, and you'll just see it's just a little bit proud one side. So it just needs a little bit of sand at the front and the back, which we've got here. And there we go, much better fit. A little bit of fettling needed, but we can just keep sanding on it until it's gone. You say it's much easier to remove less and then sand off where needed than take off too much with the saws or the cutters, and you're left with big gaps. But overall, this fits pretty well. Like I say, just a shame on the other side that the panel lines don't actually line up as much. But hey, it is what it is, and we'll make the best of it that we can. So there we go. That's fitting in there lovely now. No real gap at all. Spoilers, choice of 2 spoilers on this. We've got this one, which is basically like the standard R32 spoiler with a little bit of the back lip at the back, and then this overhang one, which I didn't like at first, if I'm honest. But when I fitted it on, I looked at it more with the kit and the body shape, I thought it actually suits it quite well. Seam lines, they're quite prolific on the back of this thing. They run up the sides and across the top of the boot lid. It's pretty nasty in one place. It's pretty awkward to get to. So, you know, it's going to take a little bit of time to do. But some gentle sanding. Try not to remove any of the surface detail if you can. And you'll be good to go. And I found on the very edge of the boot lid, I just went straight in with a 240 thinny stick. And just very gentle circular motions to get rid. It's quite a prolific, it's not prolific, pronounced panel line seam, if that makes sense. So there's quite a few on the car. So just run your fingers from the front to the back so you can see them. There's 2 on the roof as well, each side. And just gently go at it with the sanders until they're gone. So like I say, just be aware where you're sanding. Make sure you don't remove any detail where you shouldn't be. And just go around. The seam line will always run from front to back. So it is there somewhere. It's usually hidden in panel lines. And you can always soften the edge very lightly with a sander where required. And there we go. With that done, I'm just going to go around with a 3000 grit Tamiya sponge. And we're going to lightly key all the surface. And why am I doing this? I'm looking for flaws in the body. I'm looking for panel lines I've missed or any surface imperfections, because I don't want to be go into this heavy-handed with this sander when I've got those resin parts glued in place. So we're going to do this now and key it all as much as we can and check that we haven't missed any panel lines. And once we're happy, we can clean it all up and start sticking our resin in place. So be careful doing this. This takes a lot of work to do. This is a cheap kit. There's some kits I've got, like Escort Cosworth, that are worth, upwards of £100 that want you to hack bits off. That's when things start to get a little bit daunting. So starting on a cheaper kit with your trans kits or detail sets is a good idea. Now we've got 2 spoiler mount holes on the boot lid, which we don't need. These are for the standard kit spoiler. I've got this wonderful super glue I've been using lately. If you've been watching my Model Factory Hero build, you will have seen it. And these awesome nozzles. These things are a game changer. Trust me, buy them. They are brilliant. I've got links to these in my Amazon store. The glue is like £6 for 2 20-gram bottles. And these nozzles, you get 300 for £9 odd in a nice little box. And yeah, they're just so precise. And you'll see it in a minute when I'm applying the glue for the resin part. It really is a game changer in precision. So I'm lining up the bumper to see where and how I'm going to fit it and get it to glue. I'm zoomed in a little bit just because I was going to glue it here, and I thought, no, do you know what? I'm just going to test fit it. And it all fits in place, not bad. We've got a little bit of a gap where the headlights are, but the headlight lens will cover that. So I'm just making sure to get it all central. It's all lined up. And it is a little bit misshapen, but with a little bit of persuasion and finagling, that's my word, you know it, we can glue it in place. So we're just going to line it up. We're going to get a little bit of tape it in place. It's those front sections I want lined up more than anything. So where the grills meet. So we're going to line that up, make sure it's all central. And then we'll pick the side that fits the best. Which is this. We'll keep it pushed home. And then we'll get some glue in there. So with the nozzles and the thick, it's not really a thick gel. It's not as thick as the pen that I use. It's not as thin as the other super glues. It's in between. It is a nice consistency gel glue. And with these nozzles, you can get it right where you want it. And we just want it in and around all the contact points where it hits the body. We don't want it to splurge out the other side. We just want it to hit all the contact points. I'm just going around anywhere and everywhere I can to get a little dab of CA glue, a little line of CA glue around the whole thing, especially around those locating points that are at the rear of the bumper by the arch. And then I'm going to do something I don't normally do, which is spray kicker directly on the body. I think it's the quickest and easiest way of getting this stuff to set. We have to thoroughly degrease the body later with our UMP airbrush cleaner. And then we're going to spray the front so that anything that's seeped through, we can get. And there's a little bit there on the indicator lens. So I just wipe that off quickly. And there we go. Job done. So that's dried. So that's held it on. I can just see a few places I've missed. Like I say, I'm going to try and get contact points anywhere and everywhere I can. Just inside. It's not going to look pretty inside, but we'll never see this. And just get every contact surface area I can. And there we go. Repeat that for the other side. Get it all held in place. Like I say, these nozzles, absolutely brilliant. If you haven't got them, I highly recommend trying them. You can get them from other places. You just cut them to size to fit the glue bottle. You can cut them to length, so you get different thicknesses and lengths of nozzle. I bought them from Model Factory Hero build more than anything, because I knew I had lots of holes to super glue into, and I thought it'd be a much more precise way of doing it. But they're just proving invaluable, absolutely invaluable. They are single use, but you can leave it on the glue bottle for hours. I've left it on, and it's been fine. And then throw away at the end of the day. And there we go, there's our bumper in place. Nice and secure, lined up pretty well, happy with that. So we've got all the sides done, we're just going to do the very front sections where it meets the grille. So a lot of trial and error, trial and testing and what have you. One thing I will say is building that Model Factory Hero kit has made things like this look a lot less daunting. The amount of times I picked this kit up with this detailed upset, opened the box, looked at what it needed doing, and thought, I don't want to do that. Put it back in the box that this isn't daunting anymore at all. The level of building in that Model Factory Hero kit, this is nothing really. And this probably took me an hour and a half maybe to get to this stage. Well, to get all the resin on. It wasn't a long process at all. It was actually quite quick. And a nice bit of problem solving. I always like trying to figure out the best way of doing things. And it does work well. It really excites your brain a little bit. Gives your brain a bit of a workout. So we test fitted these side panels. They all fit pretty much perfect. Like I say, some of the panel lines don't match on the doors. They're about 1 millimeter short, I would say. So I pushed them in the middle so they lined up perfect. I'm going to run a thin bead of say glue on the very top edge of this. Again, the beauty of those nozzles. Make sure we've got none on our fingers. And when you're going to offer it up, and it angles, you'll see the way it angles when you put it on because it closes the gap up perfectly. So line up your door shuts. Line up the angle. You'll see the angle perfectly because all that gap will disappear. So I just popped it in place. Didn't quite line it up, so just very quickly get it off. The beauty of the thicker glues is you get a little bit longer to work on them. A little bit. And then when you're happy where it goes, just hold it for a few seconds. And there we go, lined up, looks good, it looks straight. If you're not happy, you could still get it off at this point. And then we're going to run a bead of shea glue all along the top. Exactly the same as before. I say an hour, look at a watch, it's 10 past 12. I've probably been in the cave since about 9:30, so maybe it has taken me a little bit longer. Maybe it's a few more hours working, I think, to be honest. It seemed to go pretty quick, but I suppose in reality it was a few hours to do. But hey, either way, we're getting there. So with a nice bead of glue along the back, mainly a strengthening, we can hit it with some kicker. There we go. See, it is quite a substantial chunk we're cutting off. So this needs a little bit of strength. And I'm doing the other side where the glue will be residually sitting from before because it'll seep through. Repeat for the other side, that's on. I've got these little spats that sit on the back bumper. They literally just sit over the back. They positively fit in really well. So I'm just lining it up, looking where it sits, and we're going to put some strategically placed dabs of glue. Like so, not going mad. We don't want all to splooge out the side. But we need enough of it to get contact of all the areas. So just line it up, pop it in place. You can see where it goes, there's a little exhaust cut out on this side. Just make sure it's all positively fitted where it should go. There we go. Once you're happy, I'm going to put a little bit underneath where it can't be seen. And then hit it with the kicker. And repeat for the other side. Simple. Actually, not too bad at all. Nowhere near as daunting as I thought it was going to be. Whether everything fits later is a different story. We'll see. But like I say, the end of this goal, normally in part 1, is to get to clear coat. It's a bit of a longer video today. Normally do this in about half an hour, but we've added all these extra bits. It adds to the build. So I asked yesterday on my live stream, do people mind the longer videos? And most of you said you'd like the longer videos. So let me know in the chat down below if you've got this far and you're listening. Do you like these long videos? Because I often think, oh, I'm going to bore people. But I'll be honest, of the YouTubers I follow in different subjects, I love the longer videos. They keep me entertained a lot longer. Just sanding off the sprue point of the bonnet there. To clear bonnet on this, should you wish to leave it open. I don't. So it's been cut to size. I just sanded the edges very lightly because it was quite a tight fit. And I'm just going to keel the surface with that 3000 grit Tamiya primer. And this basically just gives it a key. People say you don't need to do it with lacquers. I always do it as a matter of course. And then we're going to go over the body again. So we're a bit more gentle. We've already done the hard work on the body. So I'm just going around removing any super glue marks, which there aren't any. Some of the residual kicker that's there. I just do this as a matter of course. And then we'll go around and fully degrease it with some UMP airbrush cleaner in a bit. So like I say, preparation is key. The longer you take doing this stuff, or the better job you do, the better paintwork you get. And I pride myself on my paintwork. It is normally quite good. So, you know, preparation does show off in the long run in a better paint job. But you can see the kicker marks I left behind. So I'm just taking them off with the sander. Degreasing it would have done the same. But I can do both, so I may as well do both. Just be aware of these resin parts, not to put too much lateral movement on them, I suppose, because it will snap off. And things like the front bumper, you stand a good chance of actually snapping the bumper off instead. I'm just going to quickly sand off these mounting points at the back, the holes where we filled them with CA glue. So gently sand them with a thinny stick. and then come in with a sponge sander and our 3000 sponge to get it all uniform finish with the rest of the body. So like I say, the prep on the body, not too bad at all. Pretty straightforward. Once we're done, we've got our Mickey Mouse toothbrush, which me and Hannah were talking the other day on a live stream. Must be about 7 years old, this. I've had this in my videos. It's been taking the Mickey out of before. Surprised nobody's told me to get a proper toothbrush, because they normally do. And we're just going through and getting all the sand and dust out all those panel lines. Quick test fit of the bonnet, and there we go. Wipe it over, get your fingerprints off. Just to have a look at final testing. Everything seems to fit really well. And we're going to mount it on our stand now. We need to be very careful this stand doesn't ping and knock those side skirts off. So we'll pop a little bit of tape on this later on. But for now, we're just going to leave it loose because it'll be coming off in a little bit anyways for doing some more sanding. Tamiya anti-static brush. We'll hit it with the toothbrush already to get rid of all the clogged up dirt in the panel lines. Then some UP airbrush cleaner on a clean piece of tissue. And we're going to go around and degrease the whole body. And like I say, belt and braces, the best preparation I can do really. This is. So we go around, wipe it all over, do the whole body, come back, dry it all off, hitting all those resin bits. If you're unsure, get some hot soapy water on the resin. That will always degrease it. Bit of washing up liquid, Dawn, Fairy, whatever you've got in your country. And that'll do a good job at degreasing everything. And just getting all the little nooks and crannies, and then dry it all off at the end. So we've got a nice uniform finish all over. And if you find something you need to sand again, just go at it again. There's no harm at this stage. You're better off to get rid of it now than prime and spot issues. And there we go. There's the two spoilers. So there's the one that's kind of like the standard spoiler with a little lip at the back. And this is the one I liked originally. But when I saw the body kit on and put this spoiler on, I thought, oh no, I actually like that spoiler. I like the one that overhangs the edge. So that's the one we're going for. We're going for this spoiler here. Spray booth. We've got the UMP Apex. 16 PSI we were at. I've finally got a definitive mark on my Sparmax. The Sparmax compressors have 4 PSI increments, and it's definitely set at 16. I've set it there and it will stay there. We've got some Mr. Hobby leveling, Mr. Surfacer, black 1500. This has been thinned with Mr. Hobby leveling thinner, about 60-70%. We're going to put 3-4 light coats down on this, building it up. I should have my colour couplet on the airbrush, but I never do. You know me, I'm an idiot. We're going to go around and lightly prime this. Like I said, it's going to get about four coats of this just to get it all uniform black. And then we're going to do something later, which I regret. And I'll show you why in a little bit. We have a bit of a strange reaction of a Gravity Anthracite Black. And I've no idea what it is. But so much for good ideas, which I'll show you in a second. So like I say, 3-4 good coats of this stuff. It doesn't need to go on really heavy. I'll sped it up. With first coats like this, because it goes on so thin, you can put it on, work your way around the rest of the car. By the time you come back, that first coat's dry. So you can go over it almost straight away. From my experience, it's warm in the UK at the minute. It's been like 25, 26 degrees in my cave lately. So all the paints are drying really nice and quick. So I often find by the time I've gone all around the body and come back, it's dry and ready for another coat. The Mr. Surfacer is very simple to spray, very forgiving. And yeah, it's a good primer. One of my favourites at the minute. Although I do wish Tamiya would make one in black in their fine surface primer, because I think I do prefer the Tamiya. It's got a bit more self-leveling to it. But for now, we've got my Surfacer 1500 black. If anyone finds a source of this stuff at the minute, I've had to start going for rattle cans because I can't get the bottles of them. Let me know. I can't find any anywhere. There's a shortage in the UK. It'll have to be from the UK. Unless it's from the Far East, and then maybe that might be doable. But yeah, there's a real shortage of it at the minute. It's getting a bit of a pain to find, and I'm down to my last bottle, which is a bit of a pain. But hey ho. Like I say, this is where the imperfections will show up now. So hopefully you've got none. Hopefully everything is glued in place securely. All those seam lines have gone. All the panel lines are equal, and you've got no issues. At this stage, if you do, you're better off stopping priming, clean your airbrush, get all that back to thingy, to standard, and then deal with the issue and come back and reprime. The bonnet, it's clear, so this should show you just how well Mr. Surface can cover. So a quick brush over her anti-static brush, and then a quick blow over with our airbrush. So my booth is running. I've got an A300S bench vent. I've got a window open because it's a nice warm day. Obviously, the hand I'm painting onto has got a glove on it. And I've got my 3M respirator on as well. Take precautions with this paint. These lacquer paints are pretty nasty. So always take precautions. Protect your lungs if you can. And yeah, your lungs will definitely thank you later for it. Chassis primed in black as well. And taking this back to the bench, and it's going to go over it with the 3000 well-worn 3000 Tamiya sponge. Just take off the top level of primer. Now, what I thought was here, this is where the problem arose now, is I'm pretty sure when I bought this paint, I was told to use anthracite with it, which is their black paint that Gravity does. So I thought it wouldn't do any harm to have a paint layer down because it might save on the paint, on the purple, and it might help the coverage of it. But as you see, I got a strange reaction. So I put several light coats on. Look at the weird colour on the roof. Now this isn't hazing. This isn't the craze in the plastic that we get off a lot of the hot paints. And I can prove that to you in a minute when we put the normal paint down. This is like a weird, just a strange reaction. Now, it's about 18 degrees C outside. It's about 22 in the spray booth because I've had the vent on running for hours and it's taking a lot of heat out. So yeah, I don't know what happened there. But what I did, I let it dry, took the top layer off with that sponge again, and I thought I'd give it another coat, and it did it again. So I kind of gave up and thought, right, okay. I could tell it wasn't crazy into the plastic. I could tell it was the paint finish itself. So my only hope then was that the paint would cover it. Now, another problem. This should be, it's labelled as Gravity Colours LXO Midnight Purple 3, which I've used Midnight Purple 3 before from different manufacturers on an R34 Skyline I built years ago. Now I'm looking at it thinking it's a single bottle. When I look on Gravity's site, they're showing 2 bottles for their Midnight Purple 3. The code doesn't match for any paint on their website for anything Nissan, but it does for a Daytona purple BMW colour. So I thought, right, okay. So I thought I'll spray it and we'll see what we get. So you can see the purple tinge going down. This took about 10 very light coats of this paint, and I mean really light coats. We went from opening side to side to up and down patterns and just slowly built this up. And you can see the tone starting to come through. You can see that kind of tone. But I'm looking at it thinking, what the hell colour is this? It's a very strange colour. And just wait to the end of the video and see what it looks like there. So I reckon we're about 4 or 5 coats in here. It's hard to tell because I put that many light coats down. Didn't use a lot of the paint at all. And it's built up really well. All those weird marks are gone off the roof. So it just shows you wasn't my spray technique putting the paint on too heavy and eating into the plastic. It was just a weird reaction off the colour itself. But this colour is very opaque. It takes a lot of coats to cover. And as you can see, we're just getting that slight purpley tinge to the paint now. So like I say, I reckon it's a good 9 coats on this. Could be more. I lost track, to be honest. I put that many coats down over several hours. You can see how nice and smooth that roof is. So any flaws on there are long gone. So I'm just assuming it's a problem with the paint. Now you can start seeing that green tinge coming in the pigments of the paint. But like I say, stick around at the end and look how strange this paint is. It definitely is not Midnight Purple 3, which is a pearlescent flip paint. This is a weird glittery paint. So I got to speak to Antonio Gravity and try and figure out what the hell I've got here. Alan Parker, one of the live crew members, he thinks it's Midnight Purple 2, and he could well be right. But as you can see here, you can see the purple tinge coming through with green flecks in there, which is going to change later because on camera it's going to look black. On video camera, to phone camera, it's going to look green, and to my eye, it'll look purple. And just wait until you see what happens when I take it outside. It's a very, very weird paint. Like I say, it's not the colour I expected, and I was a bit bummed out at first thinking, what the hell is this? But after looking at it last night after the 2K had started to cure, I was looking at it on our live show last night. I actually like the colour. It's a very strange metallic purple green, but it definitely is not Midnight Purple 3. I haven't got a clue what I've got here. So there we go. After several coats of paint, we've got some decals to put down. And as you can see here under my bench lights, what colour is that? I've no idea. It's like a weird blue, black, green. Very, very strange, but it does not look like that to my eye. It's a totally different colour to my eye, which I caught in a video on my phone at the end. So you're going to see 4 different colours from 4 different perspectives at the end of this video. So I haven't got a clue what has gone on. But I'm going to speak to Antonio and try and figure out what paint I've actually managed to get here, because it's a little bit strange, that's for sure. 3 decals to go on, 2 on the side and 1 on the bonnet. We've got a Nissan logo for the boot lid and a GTR logo. Luckily, the Nismo version of this kit comes with metal decals, so we're going to use those. And I've got some GTR badges in PE, so we don't need to mess around trying to hand paint the Nissan badge, which I did try to do, and it did not go well at all. So we'll put those metallic decals on afterwards when we've got it all polished. But for now, I'm just going to get these decals in place, usual decal process. Remove any excess fluid from behind, get them in place, hit them with a decal solution. Straight for strong UMP on this, because the Tamiya decals, I know they'll need it. And just get everything in position before you commit to hitting them with decal solutions. Panel line, we're going with straight black out the bottle, straight away. You couldn't even really see this, the paint's that dark, so I guess it's kind of a matter of formality doing this, but we went around and gave it a wash anyway. My old adage, if it'll hold a wash, put a wash in it, so any panel lines, pop it in there. So all around the door shuts, door handles, fuel filler, the bumper, everywhere. Don't go mad with it. The less you put on, the less you've got to remove later. So you tend to find, don't load your brush up too much, and just touch and let the capillary action carry it where you need it. Leave that to dry for half an hour, and you can come back in with a clean cotton bud with some Santador or other odorless mineral spirits like this, and start to gently remove the wash. It's enamel wash over lacquer paint, so you shouldn't really have any issues as long as you're not scrubbing away with it. And then get a clean piece of tissue and wipe away any excess. And like I say, always say, even when you think you've got it all off, come back 10 minutes later and have a look, and I'll almost guarantee you'll spot somewhere you have missed. And it's better to see it now than halfway through 2K, which I've done many, many times before. So trust me, once you think all the wash off, put it down, do something else for 10 minutes, pick it back up and inspect the whole car from front to back, and I bet you will find somewhere you've missed. Might be the smallest spot, but I'll almost put money on it, you'll find somewhere you've missed. So there we go, it wipes off pretty easy. Not too bad at all. The colour is mental, it really is. Right, 2K. So following day now, we're going to wet down our booth. We've got a fresh, clean booth. All fresh tissue, fresh filter. My room has been hoovered. We've got the window cracked open ever so slightly. The booth's been running for a good 10 minutes. We're going to cover my hands up, my left arm up. I've got my big Scott respirator on, which I use with my 2K. I'm going to mix up some gravity colours, 2K clear coat. Been using this for a long time now. It's what I'm going to continue using for the foreseeable future because it's brilliant stuff. I'm just putting my respirator on. Probably should have cut this bit of footage out, but hey, you can stay at the paint booth with me for a minute. There you go. That's my paint booth. There you go. That's that done. And here we go mixing. So I overmixed way too much here because I accidentally put too much in here at the beginning. I ended up mixing probably double what I needed really by accident. I'm a bit of a prat. Been suffering a bit lately with the old mental health, and it comes across in ways like this where I make silly mistakes. So for some reason, instead of mixing 6ml, I mixed 12. It was only when I got halfway through mixing this, I thought, what are you doing? I think I was on model Fat Your Hero kind of process, thinking this is what I'll need, which I don't. But anyway, we wasted a bit, but oh well, things happen. And to be honest, quite often when I mix the right amount, I end up running out anyway. So I always end up mixing another 3ml. So it's by the by, isn't it really? It's all relative. But yeah, pay attention to what you're doing. As you see, we've got a couple of sets of the Gravity 2K out because one's nearly empty. So I was just kind of getting the dregs out of one from the other. So that's 12ml of clear, 4ml of hardener gone in. Stir that, throw away the pipette, and then get a fresh pipette for the thinner, which we're just putting in here. And that's 4ml of thinner gone in. Move all the boxes out of the way. And then give that a really good stir up. It will go cloudy, it always does. And just stir it until it goes clear again. And again, throw that pipette. Don't ever use that again. We've strained it through the strainer, as we always do. And then we're going to thoroughly wipe over the car with our anti-static brush. We've got our UOP Apex 0.2. We're at 20 psi now, and we're going to put down our tack coat first. So quite a light coat, not going too mad. So we've gone over the anti-static brush and just blown over it with the airbrush air as well. I'm just going to gently go all around it with a nice tack coat. So we're not hosing it on, we're just putting enough down to see a visible layer of clear. Making sure it's all uniform and equal is more key than anything. So make sure you get underneath all those bumpers, all the side skirts, in the wheel arches, get angled into those recesses in those new skirts because they are quite deep. And then repeat for the other side. And the same even coat all round. To the left of me, you can just see the back end of my box where I put all my stuff in. It's a sealed box with holes in the side with vents on, with a drop-down box. So I literally put the body straight in there and it's covered. And then we can deal with the bumper and the spoiler as we go. Now, I've left the usual process in of the 2K. I thought I'd show it in real time because maybe some of you are struggling with your 2K. I'm not saying mine's the correct way of doing it, but this is the way I always do it. So we do a light tack coat, then a slightly heavier wet coat the second time round. And the third time round, I don't come in with a full wet coat. I kind of do another semi-wet coat, leave it for a couple of minutes to self-level, and then get it out, have a look, and usually give it another smaller wet coat again. I just find it's giving me a better finish without putting the 2K on too thick, because 2K is a fickle thing. You need enough of it on to get the clear coat correct without going too mad and looking too toy-like, too thick, too much like treacle, or worst of all, getting runs. So I thought I'll leave it in real time. I sometimes speed this up as well, but I thought it's going to be a long video anyway. Another 5 minutes is going to make it all that much difference. But you can see there, not putting a wet coat down. I'm just getting an equal coat all round. Now with the 2K, I have got the lid on the airbrush. We have taped the body to the stand just to make sure everything is secure. And if you do have these stands, do what I do, glue and or screw the base, the top bit, because it will fall off. It'll scare the life out of you. And maybe worst case scenario, you'll drop your model. So glue or screw it together so it doesn't fall off. Mine is epoxied on, so it'll never fall off ever again. With the body done, that's under cover now. We're going to move on to the spoiler and bonnet. Same process, just bear in mind these are smaller parts. And we're just going to give a very light coat without going mad. Now, for some reason today, I have no idea why, dust was prevalent. It's everywhere. It's all in the clear coat. It's going to take quite a bit of cleanup. But we always get dust. We always have to clean it up. So it's just one of those things. It's par for the course, unfortunately. But it's fixable. It's doable. So we'll just have to flat and polish it all later. But like I say, don't go mad with these clear coats on the first two coats. Just put enough down to get a tack coat. The idea of the tack coat is that as it dries and off gases, it goes unbelievably sticky, and you'll feel it on your glove as you're waiting for the coats to dry. That then, when you come in with a wetter coat, is really sticky, and it prevents runs of the clear coat when you're putting your wet coats down. So that's the idea. 10 minutes has elapsed. We put everything to one side. People always ask me, do I leave the clear coat in the airbrush? I do. I fill it back up, put the lid back on, put it to one side. I put a cup over the 2K that's in the medicine cup as well, so nothing lands in there. And then we're coming back with a semi-wet coat now. So it's a little bit heavier than the first coat we did. And keeping a distance so we get a good spray pattern as well. And we're just putting down a semi-wet coat. Again, just being thorough on where it goes, getting all those recesses, the wheel arches. There's quite a deep gap in those side skirts, so we're making sure we get in there as well. Front bumper is quite a busy front bumper, so making sure we get in there too. And then the rear bumper, again, quite busy. It's quite an awkward car to spray, this one. There's lots of little recesses. And like I say, you can see the dust already. Absolute nightmare today. So I'm not sure if I did disturb something in the room. My room is a heavily used room. A lot of modelling. We've got, resin dust floating around everywhere. So it could be that. It's summer. The windows and doors have been opened. So it could be that. Dust is just one of those things we have to live with as a car modeler. And you get good at polishing it out. But we're just being thorough, making sure we get everywhere. We're not putting too heavy a coat on at this time. We just want a nice, uniform, semi-wet coat all around. As you can see, that's what we've got. It's not glass, and it's not perfect, but it has got orange peel in it. Put that back in its box, and then onto the bonnet and rear spoiler. And again, with it being smaller part, it doesn't need as much 2K, so don't go mad. As you can see, I overlap with each coat only a little bit. Once you get the top done, do the sides very quickly. And if you find you need to put a little bit more down, just looking for a uniform coat, not a perfect finish. And then the spoiler. And like I say, I don't normally do this, but I thought I'll show the whole 2K process from start to finish in real time. It's quick, really. The 10-minute gaps in between are what take the while, but that 10 minutes is letting it flash off and go tacky. So just put it in the box, go do something for 10 minutes, but make sure you are aware of the health implications of 2K. It's not good stuff at all. It's pretty nasty. Don't do it in a room with your family, your pets. You know, if you are isolated, make sure you leave the room once you're done, which I do for at least an hour or two. Leave a window open. Just make sure the model is covered, because any dust in that room will land on it and stick to it. As you can see here, I've got a terrible problem with dust today. Some you get no dust, some you get tons, some you get a little bit. It's just one of those things. But once this is fully cured, you can flat it all and polish it up. And you can always get rid of it completely, depending on how far you push it. But this is our third coat now, so we're going for a more perfect finish. Now, I haven't gone for the really heavy coat. I put another semi-wet coat down. This is going to go back in the box. I'm going to do the same to the body. We're not going to put a full wet coat down. But as you can see, I'm getting a little bit more paint now. I'm going a little bit slower on these passes so we get some good coverage. I just find if I go heavier on this coat now, it tends to look a bit thick and a bit treacle-like. Whereas if I don't, I find to get enough 2K down, workable to polish without having to go mad with the sanding later. And as you can see, look how dark this paint has gone now. It looks black. It really does look black, and it isn't at all. You'll see what I mean at the end. It's such a crazy colour. It really is baffling. You can see a slight purple tinge on the roof. But like I say, on this, I'm not going for the full wet coat. I'm just going for a semi-wet coat. We'll put it down for a couple of minutes. Let it all self-level. 2K self-levels, massively self-levels. So quite often if you leave for a couple of minutes, it'll self-level out a little bit more. And that's what I'm aiming to do. So there you go. Like I say, please be aware of the safety issues with 2K. It's a nasty chemical. You're basically spraying airborne super glue in a way. Isocyanate, just by the nature of how this stuff works. So I got the best respirator I could. It cost me £150. It's a full face respirator. Make sure the hands are covered, any skin's covered. Eyes are supposedly one that should be covered a lot as well. And obviously good extractor, ventilation, and leave the room to let it off gas. Don't sit in the room with it afterwards. It's a very sweet smelling clear coat. There we go. After that coat, we've got a nice near perfect finish now, apart from the dust, which is a bit of a nightmare. So what I'm going to do is going to leave that to one side, and I've let it set basically for a couple of minutes, and we come back, have a look, and I can just see a little bit where it's not quite glass-like. So if you do, airbrush at the ready. We've still got plenty of 2K left. You can just give it another light mist over, because as you see this now is how this will dry. So if you have orange peel now, you'll more than likely have orange peel later. So just a light mist over, again at the part. You can see the boot lid's not exactly glass-like. So I'm just going around and giving it a very light mist coat. It is self-leveling, it will level out. But just be aware, like I say, what you have here now is how it will dry. So if it's not glass-like, it's not going to dry like that. And I see so many people use 2K, and they've just not quite put enough 2K down. Don't be afraid of it. Don't go mental. Just do it slowly like this. You don't have to do 3 coats. I've done 5 before now, because I've done a tack coat, a thin wet coat, another thin wet coat, and just keep building up slowly. It doesn't always give the best finish, but you can add more coats than you think. Like here, I'm just adding a little bit more. I've got a much better finish now. It's looking a lot better. And as you can see, I'm just putting a little bit more down on that boot lid, just where I'm not quite happy. And there we go. We're getting a nice glass-like finish. Like I say, it will self-level, so it will level out just a little bit more. But like I say, if it's not smooth and clear at the end of spraying, it's not going to be like that when it dries. Like I say, I see so many 2K jobs where it's just not quite been pushed far enough. So don't be afraid of it, like I say. Just get it down, get the paint down. Bonnet looks good. That's fine. And here we are, about 4 hours later. Look at that. So you can see those weird metallic flakes in there, but it still looks like a weird greeny, black, purple colour. So this is on my workbench under my work lights, which you always see on the videos and the live streams. And we've got a slight green tinge. You can see the pigments in there. The pigments are large, but they're not overly large under artificial light. Outside, it's a different matter. But looking at it, I'm thinking, okay, it looks a bit odd on camera. It just looks like a green tinge. No real flips. It's definitely not Midnight Purple 3. I'm just sat here thinking, what the hell is this colour? So having a look at the bonnet, have a look. The 2K's gone down really well, nice and clear. Like I said, we've got lots of dust in there. It's not too thick. We're going to flat this back anyway, so we'll lose a little bit of its thickness. But we've got lots of dust to deal with, which we'll get to later. Spoiler's got a massive amount of dust in it, but again, we can get to it later. We can flat and polish it all back. And that's that. So I took it outside. Oh my God, look at that outside. And this is where I was like, what the hell is this? So under my spray booth lights on my Canon M100, it looks black. Under my workbench lights with the Canon M200, it has a green tinge to it. Outside, in natural sunlight, it looks like a clown's exploded. I do not like this outside at all, but you can see it's purple. It's very strange. It reacted massively to the sunlight, and it was a very strong sunny day. But I was starting to doubt this, thinking, oh my God, what's this like? But for me, it's how it'll look in here, because this is where I'll see it. It'll never go outside, ever. So I'm not too bothered how it looks out here. I just have to take it out to see how it popped in the sunlight. And boy, did it pop in the sunlight. Wow, what a strange colour, for sure. So I was trying to get it to show to people on the live show last night, and I thought, iPhone camera's not showing it, so I thought, right, I'll grab my phone camera and video it, and there you go. That is the colour I see. So we've got a very nice purple colour with a nice metallic effect. The flakes are bordering too big, but I don't think they're too big as the Corvette ones were. But it is a beautiful colour. It's just a very weird colour. If you angle it, you can see tints of green in it. So what this colour is, I haven't got a clue. But it is what it is, and we'll go with what we got. So there we go. That's where we're at. Definitely interesting. It is. It's not the colour I was hoping for. It's still a nice colour. It looks good on the car. Definitely looks better to the naked eye, as you can see on that iPhone video. It doesn't like my other cameras. It goes black and green and everything, but it is purple. It's a very high metallic flake purple, and I quite like it, to be honest. It looks quite good. So that's where we're at today. So I did speak to Antonio Gravity, and he said that was one of their old suppliers' paints. The newer one is one of the tri-coat kind of things. We have a primer, a base coat, and a tint to go over the top, which is what I've used before on the Midnight Purple 3. I would have preferred that colour, but unless we're going to strip this, which I don't really want to do, this is the colour we're going to use. He did have to send me out, so I should have that in the future. But yeah, I'm happy with the colour. It's different. It looks crazy under sunlight. I don't think we would take many pictures of it outside, but under my kind of bench lights in here, it looks good. I like it. So an eventful video, lots of hacking, lots of nervous cutting, but overall it went together really well. I really wish I caught the resin bending on camera. I've never done it before, and I never expected it to bend that easy in one go. One go. Really quick. I just thought I'll try it, and I was like, oh, I should have filmed that, because I thought it was going to be more. I thought it was going to be, you know, easing it. No, it just went straight where I wanted it first time. So sod's law. Maybe we'll catch something else on camera next time. But there we go. That's the part one of that. I'm hoping to go back to the Mollefatcher Hero build next and work on the bodywork of that, which is very daunting. And then we'll come back for another part on this in a little bit of time. There we go. As always, let me know what you think in the comments down below. Love reading all your comments. And take the time to give a thumbs up on the video. Like and subscribe. And yeah, there we are. As always, like to support the channel. All these videos, all the live streams are doing, keep the content flowing, which it is massively at the minute. There's a Patreon link down below. With that, you get early access to videos. You get 2 weeks early access if you go tier 2 or higher. You get an exclusive Wednesday morning Patreon live stream. and other perks like picking reviews and future builds from time to time, and the knowledge and knowing that you're keeping these videos going, because without that support I couldn't sit and do this, couldn't sit and do here and release all these videos, which I am prolifically making videos now. There's a lot out there, and there's a lot on pre-release. If you're watching this, there'll be others sat back. There's currently about 8 videos on 2-week early access, so it's worth becoming one. So have a little look and see what you think. And if you look in the description down below, loads of other links for ISM Facebook page and forum, umpretail.com, my Paul ISM modelling page, my scale mates, there's an email address to get in touch with me, my Amazon storefront where a lot of the products are linked in there, and a big long product list of everything I use in all my videos. Also links to my other channel that I live stream on every day. And there we are. Question for today. What have you... Let me see. Like the colours surprised me. What have you done in modelling that hasn't quite turned out the way you expected it, but was quite a surprising result? So what would it be? Paint, modifications, not an accidental win, but what have you done that you thought, oh, that's turned out totally different than I thought it was? Have you got anything? And what is it? And for me, it's probably this very different colour, very strange colour. So I'm hoping it's going to look good when it's done. There we are. Anyway, I've waffled on for enough. It's nearly an hour long, this video. Thanks for watching today, everyone. Take care. Bye-bye.